everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I kind of feel like just ranting about being sexy and sex in general because that's what this channel is. For today's eye look and overall makeup look, I'm going to be a little more dramatic, or at least try to be, because as I've said in past videos, every single one of my makeup looks are pretty much the same. Because that's really all I can do. I don't experiment a whole lot because when I film these videos, that's pretty much the only time I do makeup, or at least do like a full face of makeup. So I don't really ever experiment with eye looks too much. But I've seen a lot of people, and maybe this is old, but I've seen a lot of people doing like a blue eyeshadow like on your eyelid and then kind of melting into this sunsetty gold orangish on top. And I don't really have that many eye-popping colors, so I don't have orange, but I have gold. I've got some browns to blend, maybe. We'll see what happens. So to start off that crazy eye look, I am going to be prepping my eyes with some eye primer. It's the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I have the little trial size because I don't ever commit to anything unless I truly love it or use it a lot. And eyelid primer is not one of those things I use a lot. Another beauty thing I'm going to be doing today too is not doing my foundation first. I'm going to be doing that last. I've seen that a lot from not other beauty gurus because I'm not one, but from the beauty gurus here on YouTube, I have seen a lot of them, you know, when they're doing like a crazy eye look, do their eyes first and then their foundation face makeup last, so that all that fallout doesn't mess up the actual face makeup and other reasons, I guess. That's it. I know I have already made a video kind of similar to this one where I talked about being sexy and what that means. So sorry if that's the same thing or very, very close to the same thing, but it's just something that kind of gets on my nerves a lot. I feel like society really makes being sexy and somebody being into sex seem like they're always almost naked. They're always in a bikini or really revealing outfits, and they've got a lot of makeup on, or they always have this kind of come hither look about them. But in reality, that's not the case. Like, those aren't the only kind of people that are into sex, and they may not even be into sex. They might just look like that and, you know, play it up, but in reality, they may not even indulge any more than the normal person does in sex. Not indulge even, like enjoy, participate in, do sex. I just hate that sometimes we judge people just based off of their looks. Like, you might think this guy in his 30s, you know, that's really nerdy, whatever, he's never been laid before. But in reality, maybe him and his girlfriend or wife, or maybe he has multiple wives and they have sex all the time and they do some really down and dirty stuff. That's just what kind of bugs me, is that your outside appearance doesn't always show who you are on the inside, and doesn't always show, obviously, what you're into when it comes to sex. So as you can see, I decided to take all of that off because I started doing the next layer to it, and I just don't have those popping, colorful colors that you need for this. So it just kind of looked like this murky, shitty brown mess once I put more gold and other colors on top of it. So still gonna do maybe a blue and gold look, but a little different, and I might have already done it on my channel. I think I might have already done it in my being sexy video, but yeah, we're just gonna go rogue here and see what happens. Now that's nice gold. Hell yeah. Like I was saying before I started going down the journey of weird eye makeup, I think I was saying something about don't judge a book by its cover, especially when it comes to sex. If you look at me, I don't really look like somebody who enjoys going to strip clubs or watching porn or knows anything about sex. To me, I feel like I look like a small town girl that is very innocent even. You know, I feel like that's what I look like, and it's hard to judge what your person looks like. Yeah, I just feel like I don't look like somebody who watches porn or who has any interest in doing anything related to sex outside of missionary. Like, I think that's what I look like. I look like I only have sex in one position, and that would be the most basic one, missionary. And that's okay if you do. If that's what you're comfortable with, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, I'm not the opposite of that, but I'm very far off from that. But I'm not like the kinkiest of people either, so kind of in the middle. Okay, now what do I do with my eye? Because now it's gold on the eyelid. Do I drag it up more to this part? Or what do I do? This is why I'm not a makeup artist and I'm not super into doing crazy different looks, because when I look at my face and I look at anybody's face, I don't just imagine makeup being on it. Like, I have no eye for makeup. So there's that. Am I just creating the same look I do every week still, but just with more pizzazz? Like, it's basically the same thing. I go from like color here to like kind of doing this motion. That's basically what that is, but I'm okay with it. I mean, that's kind of more dramatic. I brought it all the way up until like my freaking eyebrow. That's kind of a look. Could be. But doesn't it just irritate you when like somebody has this like preconceived idea of who you are and what you're into based off of how you look and just a couple interactions with you? That really pisses me off. So when people assume that like I don't know anything about sex, that because I've been with somebody for 8 years since high school, that I don't know anything, that I just have missionary every night. Like, that's not how it is. And it just really irks me and it gets under my skin, because I feel like that kind of puts a damper on people who get shoved into that box. Like, if you look like you're, you know, society's nerd and you have only had sex with that one guy at band camp, and you know, that's just like who you are, and that's who society thinks you are, and that's kind of the image that it's hard to get out of your head. Wow, I'm going off on a tangent here, but this whole video is a tangent, so that's fine. But you know, you get put into that little box and it's hard to get out of it because people aren't maybe willing to talk to you about that stuff, because they might assume that you have no idea what they're talking about and no clue, and you don't want to talk about sex. And sex is something that everybody should enjoy, and it's there for you to enjoy. I mean, it was created so you can create more people. However, it's also a thing of pleasure. So the fact that there's people who don't look like they have sex or enjoy it, they get thrown into this box and then they don't get to talk about it, or they don't get to enjoy it and talk about it as freely and openly without judgment as, you know, maybe a supermodel who looks really sexy, who's on the cover of, you know, Sports Illustrated, might be able to enjoy it and talk about it freely. And not that any of you care, but I definitely just did my face makeup without filming it. You're welcome, from saving you from that joy, pain. Basically, nobody likes being thrown into a box, obviously, and I think women are really familiar with that feeling, just in general life, because we're always, I think, being thrown into certain boxes. So we definitely know what that feels like, to be thought of as somebody else or a certain way because of how we look on the outside, even though that does not define us, and that's not really who we are all the time. I mean, for example, somebody might see this eye look and be like, wow, she's a makeup artist, because it's just that good. But in reality, I'm not. It's my secret. I'm not a makeup artist. This is just me. When it comes to sex too, I think women get put into a special little box as well. We're not even equal to men when it comes to sex. Like, men can talk about it freely in public, and they can go to strip clubs, and they can enjoy sex, you know, outside of their home. But for women, I feel like we're like shunned or looked at weird when we say that we enjoy sex just as much as men, or that we're players, or we have hookups, you know. There's obviously that double standard when it comes to sex, and men can openly do whatever they want to about sex and women not so much. For me, I've definitely had circumstances where I've started to talk about sex when, you know, maybe a classmate started to talk about it, or I was working in a group project with a bunch of guys and it was just me and they started talking about it, and or they felt like they needed to censor themselves when I started to talk about sex because they thought that was disrespectful to me, like I was some precious little thing that needed to be protected. But that is far from the truth. Like, I know just as much as they do, probably more than they do about sex. It just bugs me when people assume that because I'm a woman, because I'm a girl, I don't know anything about sex. That I should have my ears closed when people are talking about it. That I should keep it under wraps. That I shouldn't have this channel and talk about sex freely and openly to the public and share all my personal stuff because I'm a woman. Like, this isn't the 1800s. I'm not a lady where I should be. And here's my crazy, not so crazy makeup look in the end. It's not really that, like, crazy. Like, it's not bad, right? Like, I'm proud of it. Hell yeah. So basically what I'm trying to say in this video is that sex is for everyone. Don't just assume because you're a woman, that you should have to hide away your enjoyment when it comes to sex, that you shouldn't be able to talk about it in public, because you can and you should. You should talk about it if you want to. And you shouldn't be judged for enjoying sex no matter who you are. So don't let society or another person put you into a little sex box and tell you this is the only way you can have sex. This is the only person you can have sex with. This is the only place you can talk about it. This is the only way you can enjoy it. Because no matter who you are, you can enjoy sex. That's it, beauties. So thanks for sticking around and watching another video. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one when we talk about another fun sex topic. Meow.